Here we go, game 13 out of 26 games today. We're back to the men's side of the draw. It's going to be Sri Lanka versus Malaysia. Sri Lanka very impressive in Hong Kong 3 weeks ago, making it to the cup final and going down with full guns blazing in a pulsating final, 22 points to 17. And there they are, number 8 of course, Danushka Ranjan, supreme athlete. When he gets the ball, look out. In Malaysia, well, they couldn't get off the dot against China earlier on, going down 29-0. But here they are up against Sri Lanka, and that looks to be out on the full straight from the kickoff, so that's a mistake straight up for Sri Lanka.
Unforgivable at this level, Grant, to have that. Possession is so important in a game of sevens. Malaysia get a chance straight off the bat. They're a little bit disappointing against China earlier, as you pointed out, but Sri Lanka in form, unlucky not to win the Hong Kong leg. That's particularly right in that last couple of minutes.
Yep. Came back with a couple of quick tries now, and here goes Ramanayaka. He's been brought in for this tournament. Missed out on Hong Kong. He's very good on the series last year. Here's Ranjan.
He was pretty good in Division 1 in the 15-a-side as well.
Ghosting through goes Richard Dharmapala, also his first event of the series, and it's bobbling around on the floor and booted into touch on the Malaysian 22.
You had Wate there, number 9. You've got to have that patience. You've got to be able to draw in defenders, but you've got to make the ball available and you've got to go forward. But you've got to have that guy back in the tee sweeping and feeding a ball into space.
So on the 22, Richard Dharmapala. Is he going for an underarm? Yes, he is. Nicely off the top, unleashes this back line. Here's Ranjan. He's got Hunda Panagoda outside him. Steps inside. Ranjan tries to get the return ball. That was good defence so far from the Malaysians. They're numbering up. Looking for the big wide pass out to Ratwate. Gets the bounce ball, steps off the left twice and brings it round towards the posts. And cleaned up an untidy bit of play there. Tarinda Ratwate.
He has finished off good pieces of play by him in the near touchline. They're just forcing that ball a little bit too far, too much on the far sideline. Ramanayaka. They get the try, that'll give them a bit of confidence. So important to be on the front foot, isn't it, in defence? You've got to be going forward, you've got to be manning up, and you've got to be talking.
Srinath Surya Bandara is a bit wide with the conversion, so it stays 5-0. As the crowd catch up on some Facebooking, emailing, telling their friends to come down to the stadium, waiting for their local heroes to turn up again. South Korea will take on Chinese Taipei 3 matches after this one. Brought the stadium alight against Japan earlier.
Playing advantage, knock on off the kickoff, Malaysia.
Here's Ranjan. When he decides to go, he goes, and just like that, he breaks the first line. He's got the gas to get on the outside of Azwan and goes over in the corner and pops it down with the left hand. The man is pure class. And a small round of applause, polite applause from some of this crowd.
Danushka Ranjan, one of their key players, as you say. And look, Malaysia makes the mistake off the kickoff. Referee plays advantage. 2 passes, bang, thank you very much on the outside. Another Sri Lankan try.
Give me hot chips. This time from 1,000 miles out. Sri Bandara pushes it right again, so still 10-0.
You go, bust up the middle. 2 defenders and away he goes. A little bit of shimmy, sheer pace on the outside. You've got to put this guy on the deck if you're going to have any chance.
It's a dainty little restart, and Azwan goes up with some support, takes it down nicely. Now it's time for the Malaysian playmakers to step up. This is Zafran, makes it up to the halfway now. We didn't see any really breaking the line against China. They've got some ball players, they've got some dancers. This is the big man, Izzuddin, decides to go head first. Look at him go, gets the big arm out. And straight in on the ball goes Sri Lanka. Unlucky there, Ramanayaka.
Was unlucky, he was on his feet.
This is good play by Azri. Malaysians going down the direct route. Another big man, Sadiq, takes it up to the 22. And again, it's Ramanayaka over the ball, just as he did moments before. This time he can't get his hands on it. Can they work the ball into space? This is Izzuddin. Can he get the arms free? Drops it down, hasn't gone forward, says Charlie Brown. The big men are lining up for more work here. Diving over the top and knocking it on. Brings that passage to an end, but a bit more positive play from the Malaysians.
It was better positive play, and that's the point. You can do all that play and look nice and pretty, but unless you're going to really use the ball and go places, going left to right, well, they made some territory. The ball's got to stick, and you've got to use it.
So here they are with a minute left with an attacking scrum. And Nazreen, first receiver, is directly behind the scrum off camera.
Now they go. Space on the left.
Here they go now. Nazreen. He runs him out of space, Azri. They can swing it back right. They might have some numbers, but again they rely on the big men. Easily dispossessed. Izzuddin has given that straight back to them. And now it's panic stations as Malaysians try and get back behind the ball. It's Zafran. He's just got to hold it up for a bit until his players get behind him. He's done well there. And straight down the middle comes Izzuddin. Can he keep his feet? He's got a smaller man, Surya Bandara, all over him. They go left now. It's a 3-on-2. Can they work it and finish this game, this half on a high? Again, Azri just hasn't got the wheels to pin his ears back and take on the flag. And if Sri Lanka can hold out here, they will have done well. And miscommunication, mistiming, and here comes Ranjan. Just puts his eyes on the post and says, Zafran, you'll have to come after me. And he doesn't want to open the legs up. He wants to do the bare minimum to get to the line. And after all that hard work, you turn around and Ranjan's gone 80 metres. Try number 3 for Sri Lanka.
He's a cool customer, Ranjan, and Sri Lanka completely muffed the conversion. That was all Malaysia, right up 5 metres on the line, and here it is here. They can't handle it. Azimi, and all the way up. Ranjan goes to the other end. Nazarudin from Malaysia had a couple of chances in that far corner, but they're trying to muscle their way through, and I wouldn't have thought that was the sensible way to play Sri Lanka. They're too big, too physical. Use the Malaysian pace and move it into ball quickly and away from the big guys. So 3 mistakes by Malaysia and 3 tries to Sri Lanka.
Dude. Break of 2 minutes as Matt Turner gets stuck into the Sri Lankans. And Coach Seisel with the Malaysians as the officials gather for a conflab in the circle. Charlie Brown, new referee manager in Singapore, new role.
Full-time role as Singapore Rugby Union, correct. Started in July, I think it was.
Yep.
Former school teacher.
Rugby nomad, teaching nomad.
And an Irish teaching nomad at that.
Irish teaching nomad. Just telling me on the bus this morning, he's been in Uganda teaching, in the US, in Singapore for about 3 years. Now he's living the dream, he told me. Full-time rugby official.
It's hard for some.
Yeah, you'd know, right?
Using rugby, getting employed to promote and develop this great game of ours.
There's a bit of shirtless action up there. Chinese Taipei getting ready for their match. They're up against South Korea later.
Yes, if you just joined us, 8 men's teams, 8 women's teams. This is the second leg of the Asian Rugby 7 series. To Hong Kong a couple of weeks ago. We go to Colombo in October 15 and 16, the third and final leg. Big crowds expected in Colombo. Second biggest sport in Sri Lanka, they say, behind cricket.
Looking forward to that a lot. Hope to see you down there if you're watching in Colombo, Sri Lanka now. Come on down. It'd be great to see you. And there's a restart. That's a bomb he's got under that one. And then a bit of a falcon off the face. So back to the dot for a restart.
You just cannot afford to do that. That's twice now off the kickoff, Malaysia. And Rusley, it's pretty simple, really, to get your 10 metres. You got a 50-50 chance if Sri Lanka knock on.
Ramanayaka lights the fuse and gets Sri Lanka underway again. This is a good surging run. Coming through is Ratwate. He comes back, Ratwate, and gives it to Ranjan, and a little bit of footwork there from Surya Bandera. And he goes in under the post for try number 4 to Sri Lanka, straight from the kickoff.
Well, Surya Bandara just finished off what was pretty simple catch and pass and bustle and move the ball into space, again off a Malaysian kickoff mistake. And they've taken full advantage, Sri Lanka, of good possession. He gets through the hands, he sizes up his defenders, little shimmy and a step, straight through and under the post, which is what you always want. Too much pace. But his teammates created the position and the opportunity. And Sri Lanka, unfortunately, haven't had to do much. So they've got plenty of energy because they've just fed off Malaysian mistakes.
That's right, they'll have China later today. They're in Pool A, Pool B, which is decidedly easier than Pool A. 5 does not go into 4.
Good catch by Matizi, but Sri Lanka have come up with it again.
Here goes Hunda Panagoda now. He's on for Ranjan, who's taking a rest. This game is in the bag. Off his feet there goes Azri. Referee says play on, and now the Sri Lankans bring it back the other way, and they'd work the overlap, but Jaya Wadanage decides just to go himself, bang off the right foot. And they put another quick one on the Malaysians to take it up to 27 points to 0 suddenly.
Well, that's just good poise and patience by Sri Lanka. They're moving it through their hands, they're drawing defenders, and Jawad Dayanga just sized up his opposite number. And you see that ball in 2 hands, ducks under the tackle of Ismail and beats another and says thank you very much. 1-1, 2, thank you. You drift too far across the ball, and that's what happens. An attacker will just cut inside off the right foot. And they now lead 29-0 Sri Lanka, and hardly had to do anything.
Malaysia need to up their game a little. Took 8th place in Hong Kong, and here he goes again. Jaya Wadanage goes over in the corner, and as quick as that, he's got a brace. He's only just come on the field. And Malaysia guilty not managing to handle the restart. I've seen so much of that today, Justin. Teams just unable to manage the restart and create some sort of exit, giving it straight back to the attacking team and having to suffer more possession against them.
Well, Pereira's lining up the conversion. It's a very important point you make, Grant. You've got to get the restarts right. And that's another mistake by Malaysia. Boom, boom. There he goes. Joan Andage gets the try. Here it is. He's just got the tap back. Feeds it. Goes around. Beats the cover defence. Untouched. Bigger, stronger, faster.
34-0. The kick is away again.
As quick as that. Malaysia making some substitutes.
Last season on the series, Justin, we saw a couple of Fijian-born players in the Malaysian side who really gave them an extra step. I think they made the plate semi-finals. 2-man wrecking machines.
That's correct.
But they've opted for a locally born and bred and born crew for this series, which is good to see.
Yep, another mistake off the kickoff, and away they go again, Sri Lanka. Oh, look at this. Surya Bandara, literally untouched.
Two tries this match. The tries are raining in now as we get across the 40 mark. It's Sri Lanka 41, Malaysia 0.
Well, Sri Lanka are taller, bigger, stronger. There's no doubt in that physical sense. But off restarts, it's pretty easy to get a couple of players, some lifter and jumpers, moving to the ball when it's in flight, when it's up high like that. You've got to take those catches.
Let's see how they go here. They've isolated Zulkifli, and he doesn't have to go up for this one, but he takes it nicely, gets
Much
some
better.
good support. That's better from Malaysia as they try now to exit from their 22. There's a bit of footwork, some first footwork we've seen from the Malaysians this weekend. We know they've got a couple of dancers that can get the feet working, and now they come away surging towards the 10-metre line. This is Zafran. And it's all just side to side, but they're inching their way down the field now. Aswan decides to hold on to that. Zulkifli was outside him, hoping, expecting a ball. And now some very wide passing could put them into some space as Sri Lankans are coming across. And
see, get your hands on the ball and move it quickly, Malaysia. They turn their backs, Sri Lanka, so have a crack.
so the Hooters gone, and they're playing for pride now. Can they get one on the score sheet? The pass is a little behind. Zulkifli tries to go for the corner, gets chopped down by Surya Bandara. Now the ball's held up, and there's lots of Sri Lankans in there. There must be some space out wide now. They're right across the park, Malaysia. Hands will do it. Can they finish it? Yes, they can. Zafran finishes off this match with a well-worked try. They work their way down the field about 80 metres, side to side, and they can take a little something out of this match.
Well, Zainuddin was the finisher, but it just goes to show if you do get your hands on the ball and you keep it and control it. It was the only time they got in the Sri Lankan half, and it was simply across the goal face, through the hands. Rusley handled as well, and you beat the defenders. And I'm sure Malaysia is thinking, well, imagine if we had got our hands on the ball a bit more often off those kickoffs and kept it.
That's right, they played better looking football 3 weeks ago. So there's the final score. Sri Lanka runaway winners, 41 points to 5. And Sri Lanka march forward 2 games under their belts now, looking forward to their final match against China today. And Malaysia will have to play Singapore in the 3rd and 4th seed battle for Paul